We have the second round of the playoffs all set, and there are a ton of interesting matchups that we're going to preview over the next few days. The Bills and Chiefs is going to be an absolute slugfest, but the one I want to preview today is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. The Niners just pulled off an incredible game against a favored Cowboys team, but their next opponent is going to be a much larger task. Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team have steamrolled this season, and apart from their Week 1 embarrassment, they have looked like the best team in the NFL, even with missing many of their key players who are all coming back for this game, i.e. David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander, and Zadarius Smith. But the Niners have been one of the hottest teams in the NFL towards the end of this season, winning 5 of their last 6, and this is exactly when you want to be hot. This preseason, I had a Packers versus Bills Super Bowl, and right now that's looking pretty good. But what could the Niners do to play spoilers this season coming into the game as the underdogs? Well, the film is going to tell us everything, and so we're going to look at where the weaknesses on the Packers are offensively and defensively and what the Niners need to exploit and run to perfection to pull this game off. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. But first, I want to preface it by saying we're only going to look at games Week 10 and after because defenses and offensives develop and evolve so much throughout a season. That's why we're not going to look at Week 1 versus the Saints, or we're not going to look at their Week 3 matchup against each other where the Packers won 30-28. They're both very different teams at this point, but it was a very good game. And we're going to look at more what the Niners can do offensively against the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is at the point in his career where he is probably the most talented quarterback of all time. Nothing's going to really throw him off, and if he's on his game, there's really not all that much you can do. But with all that being considered, I'm going to give my predictions of what I think is going to happen in the game at the end of the film, and we're going to see what other teams did similar to the Niners that the Niners are going to be able to pull off that recently found success against this Packers team. So let's get into the film. This film analysis is going to be broken up into several different parts, looking at different things that the Niners can do that other teams found success. This first game is going to be the Week 11 matchup against the Vikings, where they put up 34 points. And the first section of this film analysis is what they can do with Deebo Samuel. So right now, as you see, we have Justin Jefferson in the backfield. For the Niners, this is going to be Deebo. And it's going to be even more effective because Deebo has proven to be not only a great receiver, but a running back out of the backfield. Justin Jefferson really isn't a threat to take a handoff here. But we have Henry Black. This is going to be Darnell Savage when it comes to play, but they're actually going to man up right here. And that is the first mistake that the Packers have made when they go up to match up in this alignment. So if we picture this as Deebo Samuel, I know Justin Jefferson and Deebo Samuel are both top 5, top 10 receivers in the league, but this is just a mismatch, and this is one of the easiest touchdowns that the Vikings are going to have all year. So going into this game, if they can have Deebo in the backfield and not only have him as a threat as being one of the best running backs on their team with alongside Elijah Mitchell, but if they're going to man up with a free safety on a play like this out of the backfield, Deebo Samuel is going to have his way, and I would look for the Niners to target this a lot throughout the game. And the 49ers also love to run a lot of motion, and throughout this entire game, we're going to see that the Packers don't adjust all that well to it. So right now, we have Justin Jefferson coming out in a motion like a swing, like he could get a swing pass, but the linebackers react so much to this that we have Dalvin Cook right here, and now we just have all the numbers. We have 5 offensive linemen and then 5 defensive linemen right here. This linebacker is almost taking himself completely out of the box. So the Niners do run a ton of motion, but watch how much the Packers react to this. I mean, look at the box. There's almost nobody in the middle of the field. So if the Niners are going to be able to exploit this, not only to maybe get some swing passes out to Deebo Samuel or use him like they normally do, but the Packers left the middle of the field wide open. You don't even have to block the end. This gives you the double team in the middle. And this is an explosive run by Dalvin Cook, picking up an easy like 12 to 15 yards. And the Niners, if they're able to exploit this with Deebo Samuel running motion like this, getting the Packers into a very light box and having Elijah Mitchell run up the middle, I think they should try and run this several times during their game. And again, the Vikings must have seen this in their game plan because they have Justin Jefferson coming again here. But watch everyone's first step. We have Stokes right here. We have the 2 linebackers. Everyone's first step is this way. They respect the motion so much, and which is probably good if they're going to be able to make the tackle if they are giving it to Justin Jefferson. But the Vikings use this a lot like the Niners do as just smoke and mirrors, distractions. And so when the ball snapped, everyone's first step is to the left or the bottom of the screen, and the Vikings just go the other way with it. And this doesn't pick up a ton of yards, but it's going to be a lot more effective if we see the aggressiveness of the Packers to react so heavily to the motion. And I believe Kyle Shanahan runs motion almost more than any team in the entire NFL. So I would look for the Niners to use a lot of misdirection for a super aggressive linebacking core and corners for the Green Bay Packers. The next thing we're going to look at for the Niners is what they can do with the run game with Deebo, with Elijah Mitchell, and we're going to see how much success the Browns had against the Packers defense. Nick Chubb in this game had 124 yards, 7.1 yards per carry, and they did a lot of the same action that the Packers defense just couldn't seem to stop. And they had a ton of success when they pulled one, usually two people. So right now we're going to have down like chop blocks right here. We're going to have the tackle down block, and we're going to have the center and the right guard both lead the way through the hole. We're going to have David Njoku crack down on this play. But watch this. We're going to show a few examples of this. Just watch when two or more people pull, the Packers don't slide over enough. Njoku's going to crack down. The center and the guard are going to pull through, lead the way, and Chubb had open holes the entire game against the Packers. 7.1 yards a carry, and we know how run dominant the Niners can be. And this is what they need to do because the Packers tend to start out games really slowly. The Niners start out hot. So if the Packers do start out slowly, which they have been doing recently, the Niners can get the run game going early, and they can keep consistently running it with Deebo Samuel, with Elijah Mitchell, pulling guards, pulling tackles, pulling centers, and getting these huge gains and controlling the clock. This is how I see them getting a huge advantage on this Packers defense. And this next play is going to look super similar because it is the same exact play, but instead of Njoku, we have Austin Hooper, and we have Dearness Johnson in the backfield now. But watch the center, watch the play side guard. They're going to pull on this play, and the Packers just had no answer for it the entire time. The Browns and the Niners have very similar offensive lines, and so I can see the Niners having a lot of success with this. So as we go on, we're going to see another one, play side, guard and center, pulling, getting a good chunk of yardage. And I just absolutely think that the Niners should hammer these type of concepts. Two or more people pulling at the same time, just hammering the run game, using Deebo Samuel as distraction, get them committing way too much. And so that's the first two parts. Now we're going to look at what I think they can do with Trey Lance in this game. Now, this one was really confusing to me because the Ravens are very similar to the Niners, especially right now when we have Tyler Huntley. Let's say this is Trey Lance. And I know Jimmy G, he's been riding the hot hand. He's been doing good through the playoffs. Why mix it up at all? This is exactly why you need to mix it up because the Niners almost never throw to the outside unless it's long and deep. They love the middle of the field, but this is how the Packers consistently played the Ravens in this week 15 matchup against the Ravens. Look at how they play empty. Look at the middle of the field right now. Let's say this is Trey Lance. Let's say this is 3rd and 5. Look at this. If you watch my last film analysis with Josh Allen, he read the box, he got the numbers. This is even more favorable because we don't even have a mic right here. Right now, I'm not even going to show you the play because they just hit a quick slant right here, pick up the first down, which is absolutely what they could do. But if they're going to get in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 situations, I'm going to put Trey Lance in the game. I'm going to go empty set, and I'm going to give him the option, okay, you can check into a quick slant right here, which is going to be great. I'm going to catch you into a quarterback power, quarterback draw, and this is going to be wide open. So let's look at another play where they did this. And again, this is even later in the game. They picked up a 3rd down earlier. This is how they consistently played empty set against the Ravens. Look at the middle of the field. Why is Tyler Huntley? Why do they keep calling these plays? I'm not even going to show you the play because they end up passing it, but I don't understand. I feel like it's just so wide open. A quarterback draw. Tyler Huntley is an extremely athletic quarterback, but if I'm the Niners, what we looked at earlier with Deebo Samuel, what they can do with pulling their guards, centers, and tackles on these run plays, on 3rd and short situations, Trey Lance has the arm to make these easy throws over the middle if he needs to, especially if it's going to be this wide open. But playing the numbers game, Jimmy G gives you no threat as a runner from the quarterback position. Put Trey Lance back there, have him make some big throws over the middle of the field if they're going to be quick and easy. But if you get this sort of alignment, this is a quarterback draw, and this is an easy 1st down in my opinion. And the last play we're going to look at the middle of the field, even if they give you a look like this, why not run it? You have 5 linemen, you have 5 in the box, it's super spread out, the holes are going to be huge. I mean, you don't even have to pick a certain hole. I mean, this is if you just out block here, in block here, double, get to the middle linebacker. This is going to be so wide open. They ended up hitting a slant right here. I mean, this is going to be man coverage, but the Packers, the way they played empty set, especially against the Ravens, who really similarly remind me to the Niners and what they're capable of doing. If they come out in this look against empty, I'm going to be running this a ton on 3rd and short because of just the box they're giving you, and I would still consider putting Trey Lance back there. And I really think the Niners should be watching this game against the Vikings because they had the most success. They had 34 points against this Packers defense, and the Packers consistently had trouble with long crossing routes over the middle of the field. I'm going to show you 3 right here. This is Justin Jefferson on the first one. Watch him coming all the way across the field. I mean, this is going to be Deebo. This is going to be Ayuk. And on the next play, we're going to see a tight end run it. This could be Kittle. But just again, the Packers had no answer for the long crossing routes over the middle of the field. This one, watch the tight end. This is going to be George Kittle when the Niners are playing them. The Packers just really didn't have good communication. They're going to put safeties. They're going to put corners on them, giving the favorable matchups. And the last one we're going to look at, again, it's going to be Justin Jefferson. And so if the line is able to protect, if the Packers aren't getting there with their front four, this is going to be trouble because the Niners are going to dissect this with long over the middle, the run game like I mentioned, the empty sets. It's going to be a nightmare for the Packers defense. And this one's kind of a combination of the two. So right now, picture this is Deebo Samuel going on this little swing. We're going to get a reaction from the linebacker and the corner coming down really hard. But this is Ayuk. Does everyone remember that route that he had against Trayvon Diggs where he went in and out, just playing on the aggressiveness of Diggs? Well, the Packers corners are also very, very aggressive. So look at how much they respect, again, going back to my point, how much they respect the swing action from Deebo Samuel. But if you're watching, I believe this is Jarvis Landry, picture it being Ayuk coming in, get a really hard post look, come to the corner, and this is going to be a huge gain for them. This is a route obviously Ayuk can do. If they can get the same sort of look, they can abuse the Packers' aggressiveness to their advantage and pick up huge gains like this. And the very last thing we're going to look at, going back to this Ravens game, not only did the Packers throw a really weird look in empty that I think the Niners should exploit, but Mark Andrews had 136 yards in this game. So Kittle has been an extension of the offensive line. They've been using him in the run game a ton, but he's still a dynamic threat. So we're going to watch Mark Andrews because the Packers had a problem guarding him all night long. Just across the middle, that's a very Niners play. This is all very doable for the Niners. Again, watch Mark Andrews on this play as well. We're going to have him here in the middle of the field. And I purposely pick these plays because they're all things that the Niners do, and they do really well, going all the way back to their motion, going back to the guard centers and tackles pulling, going back to Mark Andrews having torching the day, and going against the aggressiveness of the Packers corners. So at the end of the day, we have to look at a lot of things. The Packers have been starting out very slowly, so the Niners need to capitalize early. If I'm the Niners, I win the coin toss, I'm taking the ball right away. I'm putting all the pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and if he doesn't get it, then you need to control the ball with the run game. And another thing I need to mention, Jimmy G cannot throw a pick. This year as a starter, he was 9-6 as a starter, and in those 9 games that he won, he threw 3 interceptions total. While his only 6 games as a starter where they lost the game, he threw 9 interceptions. So obviously there's a trend. If Jimmy G protects the ball, they win the game. They really have to hope the Packers start out slow and Rodgers isn't having his best game. So we pretty much all looked at what the Niners need to do offensively because it just really comes down to if Aaron Rodgers is going to make a mistake. Aaron Rodgers has 531 attempts in the regular season with only 4 picks. So do not count on an interception. If you get it, pray to the football gods that he fell into your lap because he's not going to come out and make many mistakes like that. But on the other hand, if he does start out slow, you need to capitalize on it, and you cannot give them the ball back like Jimmy did in the Dallas game, giving them life to the end of the game. And you need to do all the things I covered on offense in this video. You need to get pressure with 4 and get a sack or 2, and you cannot lose the penalty battle. So they can win if they do all of this or most of these things. I showed you what I think teams that are very similar to the Niners did that had success against the Packers defense, but they need to play a clean game. They can't get many penalties. They can't turn the ball over. They need to not fumble it, and they need to capitalize when the Packers show weakness. And so if they do all this, I believe they can win the game. Where it stands right now, I still think the Packers are the best team in the NFL. I think it's going to be a long road ahead of the Niners, but if they're going to have to pull this off, this is the recipe on how to do it. But let me know what you guys think. I really hope you guys enjoyed this film analysis. I had a ton of fun making this video, and if you want to see videos like this on the other playoff matchups, let me know, and let me know what team you want me to cover on how they can beat a certain team. If you want me to do the Bills Chiefs, the Bengals Titans, we have the Bucks and the Why can't I think right now? Whatever, just let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Comment down below what you thought and who you want me to cover next. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. And as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!